Wrestling and your non-stop shop for amazing wrestling news, opinions, analysis, breakdowns, and conclusions. With me today is my classic co-host, Justin from In-Ring Art at In-Ring Art. Justin, what have you been drawing lately?
Kind of a lot of stuff.
Tell me where your artistic mind has been floating towards.
Here, I can show you a handful.
Okay, you need to describe them. We have to describe them, though.
Okay.
It is an audio show.
Well,
so he's got...
Here's today's.
I saw a Yota Tsuji.
Yeah, I did that. This was today's. I did Yokozuna.
Okay, a Yokozuna. Nothing like a Polynesian trying to be a Japanese person.
Right? My cousin Rodney. This is from a while ago, but
and
I did a better one.
He is showing a picture. Who is that?
This is Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. He's doing a Bad Bunny.
I did Bad Bunny.
You like
yesterday.
Bad Bunny? Do you like Bad Bunny?
I have a lot of Puerto Rican friends, so I'm supportive of them, and he's good. He's talented.
I will tell you, I think his music is not that great, but I think he's a pretty cool wrestler. So
no, listen. It's like I think people this is like trying to think of a way to put it in perspective, but he's like the number one recording, like he's like the top musical act in the world.
He is
right
one
now,
of the
right?
most popular artists. Yeah.
So it's almost like if
and he's Puerto Rican, he's American, which is really interesting too. And all his music is in Spanish.
It's really like if I don't want to go that far, but it's like a Prince or Michael Jackson was wrestling in their prime. Like if in 1988...
I think that's a terrible comparison.
I'm just saying, if the top recording artist in the world at the time, right, was doing wrestling
we're not going to... Okay, but the influence of Bad Bunny is nowhere near...
No, I'm just saying, at the time... He's the top recording artist right now, and I'm not, like Cyndi Lauper.
But sometimes the top recording artist is.
If it was like if Cyndi Lauper when she was having 30-minute matches when she was doing the rock and wrestling stuff.
Now you've seen the Michael Jackson wrestler, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of dumb, but whatever. To each his own. I get the amusement behind it.
We need a Tupac. We need a Tupac wrestler that'll
or his hologram, right?
Yeah, dude, that would be sick. Like a hologram, yeah. And then they if he like body slams them, they would like jump, and do a body slam.
Yeah,
I love
just crazy.
Those thoughts.
It's crazy to have somebody that's so ingrained in.
Well, the fact is, you got these celebrities that love wrestling, and they really want to be part of it. You had, the Arrow guy. What was his name?
Yeah, Stephen Amell.
He loves wrestling. Yeah,
and I think him and especially Bad Bunny and
Logan Paul.
I don't know if Logan Paul's as much a wrestling fan as he's just like a really good athlete that they were, But
well, and then you have the girl from Stardom too, which we'll talk about in a little bit because that show.
Just to kind of wrap up Bad Bunny, he seems to take it seriously, which is cool.
Takes it pretty seriously. And so why don't we use this as a stepping stone to talk about Backlash, a show that I didn't really see. So. This is going to be a weird episode because there's shows I saw that Justin saw none of, and there's shows that Justin saw that I saw none of. And we'll start with Backlash. Did you see the entire show, Justin?
I did. Of course, I can't guarantee you my entire attention was paid to it, but I got the card right here. We can go through it.
He was surfing on his phone a little bit through it. You can't blame him.
Or just getting up and handling things or drawing or whatever. But that first match was really good.
Having to discipline your children?
Yeah, I don't know. They were pretty good that day.
Okay, that's good.
Bianca
It was
Belair and
at
Io
the.
Sky was the
I wanna.
opening match.
I want to say something real quick before we go on here. I think it's really cool that WWE did a show in a Spanish-speaking territory. That is part of America, right? But
It's a Commonwealth. I don't know necessarily if it's. I don't know.
it's part of
how that
America.
works. Yeah,
It is part of
pretty
America.
much.
Yeah, it's like the 51st state that like is not a state. Is the way I think of it. It's not a state. They did it at a big arena, Spanish-speaking territory, and there was a lot of Spanish-speaking angles, right?
Yeah, there was
a few,
definitely sprinkled in. You had some.
I want to talk about Savio Vega real quick.
Yeah, I mean, and Carlito, but just to really kind of encapsulate Puerto Rico and wrestling. Puerto Rico wrestling
huge history
in Puerto Rico, and
I was talking. At least it was during the territory era, right?
Yeah, territory era, and still to this day, you can go and do some indie wrestling in Puerto Rico. They still have stuff going. Just to give a perspective, I have some friends that are Puerto Rican, one of our good friends, and he's not a wrestling fan, but he knows that, you go to Puerto Rico, the number one thing there is baseball.
Yep.
Number two is
as
pro
in a
wrestling.
lot of the island countries.
Yeah. Number two is pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is probably basketball, actually, and then number four is soccer. It's not as big there as you think it would be, but
but baseball is by far the number one.
Baseball's number one, and then pro wrestling's probably right after it to this day. And you got a lot of history with the Colognes,
Bruiser Brody.
Well, yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Puerto Rican history, just like Hawaii. At one time, it was a major territory, right? You would go there and wrestle.
Even more so than Hawaii. It's still huge there. And in terms of a pastime and the heritage. So
you telling me that WWE is huge there? Because there's only a couple companies. Yeah. Well, they showed it. They showed it in the attendance, and the crowd was really good, right? I heard the crowd was great.
The crowd was great. It would be worth just watching it again for the crowd. It was really great. That first match with
Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, and Triple H likes to put his Triple H often. I don't know if this was a Triple H or a Vince thing, right? Probably a little bit of both, but Triple H likes to put a badass opener on his shows.
Yeah, and he did with this as well, and the crowd was really behind Io Sky.
Really?
They were probably 90% behind Io Sky. That was interesting.
Did they boo Bianca Belair?
I wouldn't know if boo's the right word, but they were clearly rooting for Io Sky.
Wow.
So
that's really exciting. That shows that Io Sky is over. And as she should be. She's great. She's amazing.
And she's more of the kind of career traditional wrestler, while Bianca Belair, as great as she is, and arguably might be the best athlete in the entire company, when you think about it, right? With her college. But she was one of those, athletes. They were basically recruiting out of college to become a wrestler. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if that was something that she grew up watching or whatever, but Io Sky is that. I don't think it was,
wrestler. But she is a great wrestler. She's a great character. Io Sky obviously has been wrestling for many years,
probably since her mid-teens or something, right? So
in Japan, yeah.
And maybe that's
Io
just something Mio. Smart fans know.
There was Io and Mio. Did you know that there was Io and Mio?
Yeah, she has a sister,
and then they combined with Asuka in Japan.
And I thought she was engaged to Evil at one point, but I don't know.
I think that was some kind of rumor. I don't want to talk too much about that because I just don't have the facts.
It was an interesting tidbit, but I don't care either way. But
I am interested because I don't want people dating Evil.
Oh, well,
I think they should get with Shingo Takagi instead. So we had Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos. Sounds like a joke match, right?
I mean,
this is a 10-minute match.
It's just something to build up Seth for maybe that tournament that they're going to do for that new title.
True.
Good
point. Was it a good match?
I'm just not an Omos guy. Like,
okay.
I think he just reminds me of Collie. He's just a big stiff,
Well, WWE loves to have a quote-unquote big guy.
But he I think in this role that he's in with MVP, I like the idea of it. And he's just basically a mid-level boss. Like, we've talked about that with people in other promotions, like a Lance Archer. So you're saying
almost as mid?
A mid-level boss. Well, not mid like mid, MJF says, but...
No, that's what... But
he's someone like Nyla Rose or Lance Archer, where it's just someone that the chasing babyface has to go through. I disagree with that
because I think Lance Archer is awesome.
No, he is.
I think Nyla Rose is awesome too, but Nyla Rose doesn't wrestle anymore.
Me too. Nyla Rose, she doesn't? Why not?
I don't know. But anyways, the time you see her on
I don't. But
I get what you're saying. It's like
though, especially in recent months. But
lately. But
no, I'm not saying they're not great because they are. But they're not someone that's Lance Archer's not going to hold the world title.
Well,
he might occasionally get a title shot. Nyla Rose did have the title for a while, but she just becomes that someone beats on the way to getting a title shot. And I'm not saying they're not great.
I get what you're saying.
I like them both.
Almost as big, but he's just a guy too.
He's a mid-level boss kind of thing, and if it's like, let's see if he can beat Omos, and then maybe what I mean.
Well, and they always do. They always do.
Yeah, he's a. That's a good place to be.
This is like a whole career out of it. Gatekeeper, right? They say.
Yeah, gatekeeper.
Just much like Dolph Ziggler was for a while. He always would,
an obstacle,
or a Goto. Also, they would always go against the top guy.
All these guys you're naming are great wrestlers that have very good careers. It's not,
Yeah.
It's not necessary. It's not a,
it's not a knock. It's just a position.
No.
Yeah.
And
Austin Theory.
Yeah. So this match was not very.
So it was against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. Why was it 6 minutes, bro? What happened?
It was just a way for him to sneak in and get his,
finisher in.
Yeah, no, just Austin Theory can sneakily get a win, and then you got a program with these two dudes. And
I would love to see Bronson Reed versus Bobby Lashley. I don't know about Austin
well, that's
Theory,
probably what you're headed towards next, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, I wonder what, obviously I understand why Bronson Reed went to WWE, went back and all that stuff, but I would just love to see that of course, tons of it, and, living in Florida and whatever, I guess. But
he's probably making like a close to $1 million a year.
Yeah. And I don't know what New Japan pays people, but I would love to see what his trajectory
much less, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember hearing that for the first Chris Jericho match. I think I heard that he got like $20,000 or something for it in New Japan. Yeah, so and they weren't willing to pay for his travel either.
Wow.
So yeah, he had to argue, I guess, with Tiger Hattori, be like, dude, you need to pay for my fucking plane flight. This is bullshit,
I don't get it. And plus, I don't know how tricky taxes get. Well, anyway.
Things have probably changed. I mean, if they can afford Mercedes nowadays. So
Mercedes didn't come cheap. I know that. So
no. Well, that they wanted to hire her friend too, Trinity.
Right.
They couldn't. Right. They couldn't afford her, dude.
I think
they could not afford Trinity.
Tightening up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like. In fact, I believe that they had trouble affording Mercedes, but they had to be like. Either one or the other side agreed to, let's just do this. But
I think Mercedes was someone with them where they can sell more U.S. tickets with on the cards.
And Mercedes really wanted to go to Japan too, badly.
Right.
So
right. And I'm sure she stockpiled enough money in WWE where, money.
Oh, hell yes, dude. And I also want to say this, as far as Mercedes goes, we talk about her being kind of a bitch backstage. We've heard all the rumors, and that's generally the gist of it. But I will say at the recent All-Star Grand Queendom show, she was extremely well taken backstage. Extremely respectful.
Listen, I think a lot of it is just she's just really enjoying what she's doing.
And that's probably it, right?
I think you put anyone in an unhappy situation, sometimes they can't
into a better situation.
That. Yeah. And she wants to be there, I think.
Yeah.
And she feels like she has more of a say in what goes on. And
that's what she said. She says, like, all her promos and her matches, she gets to decide how they go, right?
Yeah.
So big difference there between her past. Rhea Ripley, you watched her?
Yeah.
Now, Zelina Vega came out in full fucking gear. Puerto Rican gear. She is Puerto Rican, right?
And she was clearly crying. Very emotional moment.
Crying, yeah.
She's Puerto Rican, of course.
Good for her. She's from the Bronx, Puerto Rican girl.
Yeah.
That's cool.
She had family there, all that stuff. Except for her husband wasn't there. That's weird, right?
Well, I don't think he's allowed.
I know,
he cannot allowed. But
what are you talking about? You can just go backstage and meet people, right?
CM Punk does that.
I know.
He just goes backstage.
I was trying not to say his name, but that's what I was.
Did you know that he went to Impact too that same night?
I think he has a lot of friends at Impact. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. He has a lot of friends that work in Impact, so
he's probably got a lot of friends everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. Him going to Impact wasn't that big of a deal because AEW almost kind of has a relation. They do share talent, but him going to WWE was just kind of crazy that he thought he could do that. And
that was a little ballsy, but actually, I heard he talked to Triple H.
He did.
I wish we could have heard that conversation.
I don't know if he did, but my sources tell me the gist of it was, "Hey man, is it okay if I'm here? Do you want to talk?" And he's like, "Yeah, we can talk, but let me just make sure it's okay with the big guy." And the big guy shot it down.
And then the big guy said no.
Yeah. So, that's when he had to leave.
Okay. Okay, Justin, with some breaking news.
No, I'm just saying. My sources are just the dirt sheet stuff on the internet. So, but anyways.
No, the idea was Vince shot it down. And Vince had him removed. But it's not a crazy thing because he is literally employed with the other company.
Yeah, and
he's about to make a comeback on Saturdays.
Allegedly,
on
we'll
AEW
see what happens.
Collision. We'll talk about
that. We'll just say, like we said from the beginning, it's in their best interest to all plug it up and get him back on the show because whatever.
Yeah,
we said that from the get go.
Although I will say, I have also heard that the Elite has no interest in working with him. So,
well, they're probably going to set up something where they don't.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they are. They're going to set up the Saturday show, and that's going to be like
show.
It's so. I'll get into this later.
Yeah, let's just finish this card.
Zelina Vega. She lost.
Yeah, and
did she get destroyed?
At certain points, yeah. But I think that's kind of. I'm not fully immersed in the WWE product, but I know that Rhea Ripley is kind of a dominant champion right now, and I don't think Zelina Vega is necessarily at the top of the card. So
not at all. And she's like 5 feet tall. She's like
and I
even
think
for a woman, she's. Go ahead.
Michael Cole was saying, this would be one of the biggest upsets in WWE history if she won. So, I mean, they did kind of lay it out there.
That's saying it right there.
Yeah, so that pretty much said it. But it was a good little match. It was fun, and the crowd, whenever the crowd's behind someone, it's
it's fun.
Play well on TV.
Yeah.
So
if the crowd is behind somebody, they can dictate if it's good or not. Bad Bunny defeated Damian Priest. He beat him.
Yeah, I mean...
in a San Juan street fight. By the way, how many San Juan street fights are there? Is there like a huge crime?
Well, under the confines of a WWE jurisdiction, this is probably the first.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been plenty of street fights in San Juan. But none of them have been sanctioned.
It looks very nice. I don't know if they are doing a lot of street fights in the city. I'm looking at the city here. It looks really nice. But anyways, they did have a street fight. And do you want to talk about anything like Bad Bunny did he use? Okay, so we had Savio Vega come back, right?
Yeah, he had a little interlude or whatever you call it, vignette, where he was giving Bad Bunny advice.
Do you know how much I love Savio Vega? Have we ever talked about that?
No.
He is so good, bro. He was good years ago. He wrestled in Japan with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right.
Savio Vega is a great wrestler, dude.
And you know what? He doesn't get enough credit for the Attitude Era either, because he was...
Oh, really?
No, because if you go back into 96, 97-ish, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was finally shook off that terrible...
dude, I think Savio Vega gave Steve Austin a bunch of his ideas. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, he was basically his big program once he shook off the $1 Million Man.
Okay.
What was he, the ringmaster? Right
ringmaster,
when he right when he stopped being the ringmaster and was Stone Cold Steve Austin. One of the first programs he had was with Savio Vega, and they had like strap matches and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
So Stone Cold. Austin always speaks very highly of Savio, and saying that he really helped him kind of launch into that Stone Cold kind of, thing.
Well, yeah, a lot of stuff was like directly influenced by Savio Vega. And
going in that Attitude Era, just quickly saying, this was right before WrestleMania 14. You had this pay-per-view, I think it was No Way Out. And you had arguably the greatest four-man tag team when you look back at history of wrestling that I've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It was Stone Cold, Mick Foley, right?
Great. Yup, I love it.
Owen Hart.
Oh boy, you're getting crazy now with me, boy.
Right? We have Stone Cold, Owen Hart, and
Mick
Terry
Foley.
Funk. And Terry Funk.
Wow. That's wild.
That was the main event. And against Triple H.
The heels.
I can't remember who. But it was supposed to be Shawn Michaels. It was the New Age Outlaws. Triple H.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be Shawn Michaels, but right before WrestleMania 14, Shawn Michaels was pretty much hurt. And the replacement, there was all these rumors, who's the replacement going to be? Is it are they going to get Kevin Nash or Scott Hall back from WCW? Of course not, right? But it was Savio Vega. So
it was Savio Vega. Okay.
Yeah, it was Savio Vega. And a lot of people are kind of disappointed in that, but it just shows you how highly he was thought of. In the world at that time, right? Is that they tapped Savio Vega to do it because they knew he can handle that, and the dude was a professional. So that was a big compliment.
And I want to say Savio Vega also in Japan was absolutely incredible. He did not play that character. Obviously, he had kind of a different thing, but I remember seeing him in Bam Bam Bigelow and being like, who is this guy? He's amazing. It ended up being Savio Vega in New Japan back in the day, right?
There you go.
Like, man. He really was a great wrestler and just a great mind for the business. So props on WWE for bringing him back tonight, because he's just a kind of a prodigy for what he does. Sorry, I'm looking up San Juan here. I want to tell you, the weather stays the same in Puerto Rico all year, okay? It's even more than you. We're saying daily average hang on. Average high is about 85 the whole year. And the average low is about 75 the whole year.
It's a tropical island.
Yeah, but I want to tell you one thing that bothered me is there is a video of Wade Barrett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's like, oh, we're here in Puerto Rico. Here's my drink. I love it. And I'm thinking, dude, you're from England, bro. What do you know about cold drinks and the beach being perfect? Right?
Probably goes on a lot of vacations. Why wouldn't he?
He's part of WWE, right?
He probably wrestled in Puerto Rico at some point, too.
I don't know. It kind of bothered me. I was like, Wade Barrett, you don't know shit about Puerto Rico. But okay. I was probably wrong.
Maybe. But,
okay.
Yeah, and it's a great country, but I think they have a lot of issues with the hurricane from a few years back really hurt them. And they're not doing well economically.
I'm kind of waiting for them to just be the next state. We should probably just do it.
I don't think they will.
Why?
Things are really expensive there, and housing is becoming an issue.
Because it's 10 times worse where you live.
Well, you know what's happening in Puerto Rico is the people that grew up on the island are getting priced out of where they live because millionaires from Florida and New York or whatever, the East Coast, they buy houses in Puerto Rico and use it as like a tax thing, and they go out there a few times a year. And they're buying the houses away from people that live there. So, anyways, that's a whole other thing. But that's what the inside information I get from my friends and stuff like that. It's they're struggling. The people there are struggling a little bit there. And that hurricane did a lot of damage to them a few years ago, if you don't forget. Yeah, and
they probably don't have the support of Louisiana that they had in...
Yeah, so you do say it's basically a part of the country, which it kind of is, but they don't get the same...
I mean, there's McDonald's there and shit.
There's McDonald's everywhere in the world. That's not a barometer anymore. Or a Starbucks, right?
Is there a Carl's Jr. there, though?
It's probably called Hardee's if it's on the East Coast, right?
Yeah. Well, no longer. It's all Carl's Jr. nowadays. But
is it? Even the ones in the East Coast are Carl's Jr., not Hardee's anymore?
I believe so, because I'm from Colorado, and we used to have Hardee's, and now they're all Carl's Jr. Let's keep talking about the show. Yeah. So anyway, I love the... I love all the kind of... Yeah, Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny.
And, a lot of times...
How many weapons were used?
A lot. A lot of kendo sticks, a lot of chairs.
Any cool moves from Bad Bunny? Did he do like any backflips or?
I mean, he finished it with the Canadian Destroyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of his thing, right?
Yeah, and he did a plancha. He took a was it a power bomb or a suplex from the sound speakers or whatever into a table.
Oh wow! Okay.
Dude, I mean, watch the match. It's 25 minutes, and I don't know if you've ever thought of
sounds pretty good.
A celebrity that would have a 25-minute match. Like, this is insane.
Let's see, Priest's left leg gave out in an attempt to move on Bunny. Bunny locked in the figure four.
Really? He used the figure four. He was working
Priest collided with a steel chair. Priest kicked out of a cover following a sliced bread. Bunny hit Priest with a steel chair in the center of the ring repeatedly, and Bunny planted Priest with a destroyer to win the match. Now, that sounds fun.
It was really fun. And this, I saw someone tweet this. I don't remember who it was, so forgive me for not crediting it. But someone basically said that Bad Bunny is a way better wrestler than he has any business being. You know what I mean?
It's been a couple of the You know what's funny? The men's celebrities are that way. Ronda Rousey is not that way. She's worse than she has any right being.
But that I think it really goes a long way. Like, unless you're just a ridiculously amazing athlete, like let's say Logan Paul, right? Who's just a great athlete. We've talked about whether we like him or not. So he takes to this like a fish to water. Kurt Angle, same thing, right? Kurt Angle, same thing. Freak of an athlete.
Just ridiculously good.
But a guy like Bad Bunny, who, just grew up watching and an appreciation, was a huge fan. That's almost, in a way, if as long as you're in decent shape and of decent mobility, that almost makes up for if you're not that great of an athlete.
Yeah,
because you have more of an
that experience and also the lack of fear. A lack of fear is a big one. Right. So I mean, yeah, the WWE nowadays, they've really honed in on these celebrities that want to go and can go. And if the celebrities can go, they sign them to deals. And Bad Bunny is a great example of that.
And he takes it seriously, yeah.
Takes it seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in the promo backstage when I saw Savio Vega, it was a Spanish promo, but it was really good still. It was really great.
Yeah, and Bad Bunny's used to holding a microphone in his hand and, playing to a stadiums full of people, so he wasn't going to get nervous or anything, and he's used to
with the groups of people, so and
it's performance,
confidence. Like how old is Bad Bunny though? It's a great question that we will figure out here. Bad Bunny, okay, so he's 29 years old.
Yeah.
So physically, do we have his height and weight? Nope. But it's not a wrestling
small.
Wikipedia.
I mean,
physically,
I would say
he's confident.
Yeah, I would say if seeing him stand next to Damian Priest, who's a good 6'5", right?
Oh yeah, that dude is huge. Punishment Martinez.
Yeah,
he's always been huge.
I would say Bad Bunny's about 6 feet, maybe a little over.
Okay, so he has the body for a male, and but even if he was tiny, he would still be impressive.
He's
like
not 5'5". I'll put it that way. Yeah. He's probably about 6 feet, give or take. Because when they stood head to head, face to face, he didn't. Of course, he was taller, but he didn't like tower over him or anything like that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. So we had the 6-man tag. After this, we had Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. Talk to me about this match. Tell me about the angles, too, because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and the Usos are on opposite shows now. So,
okay.
I think this was set up as a device to plant the seeds between what's going on with Jimmy J and Solo, and then also Matt Riddle and Solo, kind of
who is newly back.
Yeah, I guess he last left off being attacked by Solo, so there's that.
Oh, that's when he got injured?
Yeah, so that's a really good kind of matchup there. As you'll notice, too, it's 7 matches is pretty light for a WWE, what are they calling them these days? Premium
events? Yeah, I think it's a Triple H thing. Hopefully, because all the NXT shows are always real light on matches, but they're really good, right?
Quality over quantity, for sure.
Exactly. And I mean, we've seen, and you've been to NXT shows that have like 5 matches, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, keep it up. Keep it up, WWE. We like it this way, right?
And don't be afraid to do this at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? But I guess that's what they've been doing.
I think they did a pretty good job this year for the first night at most. The second night was okay too, but I think they've been kind of doing that. Heavily influenced by New Japan doing 2 nights at the Tokyo Dome, which is funny because New Japan doesn't even do that now. But those 2 nights...
No, they stopped this year. But I don't think WWE's never going back to the 1-night format.
No. It's a great idea.
The first time they did it was the pandemic, I think, when they had the WrestleMania at the Performance Center.
So tell me what happened between the Usos and Solo, if there was any kind of angle there.
I just think it was kind of leading up to it. It was just the whole
but what actually happened?
I think pretty much Solo did all the dirty work.
Okay.
You know, for the most part.
And they won. The Bloodline won, right?
Yeah.
And who Sikoa connected with the spike. Okay, so and it was Solo that won the match.
Yeah, I think he might have pinned Riddle. I don't remember. I don't know if he pinned Kevin or Sammy.
After Riddle hit a Bro Derek, Sikoa connected with the Samoan spike to win the match for his team after Riddle hit a Bro Derek. Okay, so I'm not really sure what that means, but look, the draft is kind of bullshit, bro. I think that we've been seeing that in the past year. I here's the thing, man. I've always liked the draft, to be honest, Justin. But in reality,
watched the draft.
What was that?
I maybe I have. I don't know if I've ever like watched a draft.
Well, it's a cool idea, but in reality, you really want everyone wrestling everyone in a way. It was kind of cool. Like when we going back, we did ECW recently, right? And we talked about John Cena at the big, what was that show called? Last Dance or no?
One Night Stand.
One Night Only or One Night Stand.
One Night Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was some pretty great Raw versus SmackDown stuff on that show. But nowadays, it's not really Raw versus SmackDown anymore, right? It's not like a fight between the two.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. But I mean, I did kind of dig the Survivor Series, but not necessarily for like the Survivor Series match with them because there's no stakes. There was no...
I liked when they had NXT involved too. That kind of made it kind of fun.
Yeah, that was cool. See, and I liked when the Raw champion would go against the SmackDown champion.
Yeah.
Because then we saw some matchups that we would have...
Isn't that kind of a Night of Champions thing that they would do like...
No, well, they did it with the Survivor Series. They would do the Intercontinental Champion would face the U.S. champion.
Versus the U.S. champion, and then okay.
So they did that. We had that really great Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match.
They could do NXT Women's Tag Team versus you know women's.
They did AJ Styles Brock one year because of it, I think.
I don't even know what's happened to AJ Styles, bro. He's kind of disappeared. But
hey, you know what, dude? I mean, at some point he's got to wind it down a little bit, right? I mean, the guy's in his late 40s.
Absolutely.
So
he's that old?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's like 46, maybe.
Okay, you're right.
I mean, and I don't know why they re-signed the Good Brothers.
To give him
45.
Support. To give him support.
AJ's 45, so he's not as old as I thought.
But still, in wrestling years, that's he would have been on WCW back in the 90s if he was 45.
Yeah, that's true. Or now. But no, right. I think I don't know what they're doing. I know they have that OC. I don't watch WWE week to week. I'm not even really watching WWE week to week.
Here's the thing. You hear about it though. You hear about it if it's good, right? So you haven't heard anything about AJ in a while. What did you think of the main event tonight? Or last night?
Cody
how was the main event?
Fans were in Cody's corner for sure, which is not too big of a surprise, but I mean, Cody kind of jumped him right from the get-go before, the bell rang. In a kayfabe standpoint, he knows that's what he has to do to beat Brock Lesnar, right? He knows that this is seen as kind of his character's stepping stone to get back in the mix to finish the story. Is that what the little moniker they're using is, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a weird one. It's really weird because he lost to Roman Reigns. They brought out a new belt, which seems like a consolation prize.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole deal is going to be with that. Is that something they're unify with? Or is it something...
Justin, I thought the winner of the belt was going to be between Cody and Brock.
No.
And so I'm wrong.
Apparently they're having some kind of tournament. I don't know if it either starts or culminates in the Saudi Arabia thing they're doing at the end of the month.
That's all you had to say.
They just needed to build something special for them. But It's like every time you want to get back into the company and dive back in and do this and that. Oh, that's right. They still have these really.
I don't want any AEW champion ever winning a WWE belt.
There's just
anyway
these little things here and there.
So he did win though. He did beat Brock Lesnar. He beat him on a weird kind of a weird finish, but he won 1, 2, 3 clean in the middle of the ring. But it was not it was not necessarily a clean finish. Kind of was.
I mean, he jumped him to start, so he went out. He at the beginning he jumped the guy before the match started.
And he got the Kimura applied, which is one of Brock's real life finishers, right?
And then basically Cody was able to kind of, reverse the pressure and not reverse the pressure, but just kind of
leaned onto his back, onto Brock's back, and
a little bit of a fluke finish, I guess you can call it.
Fluke. That's a great way to. That's a great description. It was clean, but it was also a little not like he didn't knock him out and pin him, right? But then again,
well, he got the 1, 2, 3. That's all he needed to do, right?
Who else pins Brock clean? No one pins Brock clean, really. So that's a huge win, dude.
Quite a few people that have done it.
I don't think
Seth Rollins,
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
Drew.
After cashing in.
No, Drew McIntyre did it at the Pandemic WrestleMania.
That doesn't count.
Why?
Pandemic WrestleMania doesn't count, bro.
Yeah, but he pinned him. He would have done it if it was the in the stadium too.
I feel so bad for Drew McIntyre. Don't even.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He really got fucked by the pandemic. But
it was just the timing. I mean, they probably should have brought him up a little bit earlier because they really kept him at NXT for a little too long, I think. Or somebody like him, they didn't even need to put him in NXT.
Yeah.
He was ready to go.
He was in NXT. Are you talking about Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
No, but he was in NXT years before that, dude. And then he went to the indie scene for a
right. And then when they came back, they put him back in NXT.
But then he was a main eventer. No, he didn't.
He didn't need that NXT run when he got re-signed back from the indies.
But at least WWE nowadays, they are not fast-tracking people to NXT anymore. Do you notice that? Like, if a wrestler comes in, they don't have to do the NXT thing anymore.
Right.
Like, look at Bronson Reed, right?
Yeah, they're putting him back up. But I think, had it been now or Drew McIntyre signed, he would... Well, that's because NXT is purely developmental now.
Purely, yeah. I mean, that the girl... even Indy... You've seen what happened to Indy, right? Indy...
She got hurt, huh?
She got moved up. She had to... she actually had to relinquish the belt.
So she got injured, huh?
No, she got moved up. She got called up.
I heard it. She got injured, and
she got called up, and she had to relinquish her belt because. So that was my guess and we saw her win the belt live, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And my guess was they were going to take it off her quick, and they did. So.
Okay.
By the way, I want to show you something what I bought real quick. Check this out. Do you see that?
Yeah, you did. You showed me earlier too. That's
wonderful. I showed you that already?
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. Well,
welcome to 2016 or whatever. The Blu-rays are going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, but my friend... Yeah,
dude, you made a good point. Is like, your friend got you a disc and you have nowhere to put it these days, right?
Yes, but also it's a Blu-ray... Blu-ray... What's the word?
Burner?
Writer,
yeah. So you can record on it.
I can put a Blu-ray in here and burn like 100 episodes or something. You know?
Sweet.
So we'll see. We'll see how it works. Guys, we're talking about Blu-ray burners, and yeah, I showed you what he bought me too. So that's cool. Speaking of cool Japanese shit, I saw this show this week, okay?
Uh-huh.
It was called Wrestling Dontaku. Do you remember all the Wrestling Dontaku artwork? from years past?
Yeah.
Do you not?
So. Yeah, like the cartoonish style.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the cartoon guys. They didn't do that this year.
Why?
And actually, what's your boy's name? Ted? What's his name? Ted. He had some like WCW versus New Japan with that artist. You know what I mean?
NWO. Yeah.
It had like Sting and
pretty cool stuff.
But even though we did not get that artist this year, which makes me sad, I feel like Justin, you should have been contacted by New Japan this year.
That would be so cool, but don't see it happening.
Well,
one of my goals is to be, to sell my artwork to a Japanese person in Japan. But I don't know how that would happen. But
you let me know when your trip is, your next trip, because I'm planning 2 years from now. So if you want to start thinking 2 years from now,
it's gonna be a while.
It's expensive as fuck, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't think Marie and the kids are going to go back this summer. It's so expensive.
What's the most expensive part? Is it being there or is it the flight?
Well, it's the flight by far. Once you're there, it's not really that, we have lodging because we stay with Maria's parents and they have plenty of room in their house. So
and the food and drink is not that expensive in Japan, right? Yeah, that's what I've heard.
And it's
just
once you're there, just getting there is the hard. Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking of just going to LA again soon because it was so cheap. Fuck, dude, I was like, I kind of want to go back to Tokyo Jungle and buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think you do it on like more of a. Yeah, you found a pretty cheap little hotel or accommodations.
Oh yeah,
right.
Well, and Tokyo Jungle, dude, that place is so cheap. That dude, I was like showing my friend, we were in shock. It's just, don't drink a ton the night before I go to Tokyo Jungle and I'll be good. Anyway, speaking of cool Japanese shit, Wrestling Dontaku, you said you pieced it together throughout the week. You kind of saw what you could see.
I watched it over 3 or 4 days.
Cool. I thought this show was fucking great. Dude, I watched it live.
Nice.
So I didn't watch every single match, but I want to talk about some of the stuff that I saw. Zack Sabre versus Jeff Cobb. I thought this match was fucking great. Do you remember how it ended?
Yeah, time limit draw. Zack Sabre, where Jeff Cobb was ready to put the finishing move on him.
Well, it was so weird because it was Zack Sabre would put in a hook and then Jeff Cobb would slam him. And then Zack Sabre would put in another hook and then he'd get slammed again, right? And then it just ended. So definitely a awesome follow-up. Like, as in we have to watch the rematch, right?
Yeah, I think it, garnered enough to get another rematch. I'm still waiting for this title to be for the young guys, but that's fine. I like the way they're doing this with the title right now.
Dude, let Zack Sabre just keep this.
I was going to say, Zack Sabre is kind of perfect person to kind of establish this title, right?
Well, dude, I'm starting to think that this is his way to the final heavyweight title.
You think so,
I just, dude, if we gave the title to, Shingo and we gave the title to Ospreay, I think Zack is really next in line. And we gave the title to Sonata, right?
Well, we'll talk about what they're going to do with that in a minute.
So I think Zack is next in line, bro, to be honest. And I think it would be great. Like, I think Zack could win the G1, and we'll see.
You know what, though? I think a lot of this conversation depends on what is the health of Will Ospreay.
True. Very true. Yeah, and we don't know all that, but
Yeah.
I think Zach really could be the main champion. I mean, do you disagree?
All I know is this: if they put him to the top again, they got to pull the trigger on him.
They got to pull the trigger on him. Yeah.
If they get him another title match, he's got to win it.
Because he's won the New Japan Cup probably once or twice.
At least twice.
And
I think he's had probably 3 or 4 title shots.
So many main event runs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's a dude that lives in Japan and has been living there.
Lives for New Japan, has been contracted to the company for fucking years.
Did not leave during the pandemic.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah. I really want to see him pick up this championship soon. If we're doing Sonata, Zack Sabre needs to be next. But they had a great match. Jeff Cobb, Zack Sabre. Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great. I posted it on Reddit. The finish was amazing. So
aren't those matches allegedly? Those are free on Twitter and on. Yeah,
I think there's a thing about that. Like the TV matches are always available.
Yeah. Like you can find those on Twitter and watch the whole thing. That was the whole.
And we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation in a bit about a show that was not free. That pissed me off.
Okay.
Chaos versus Strong Style. Okada, Ishii, Tanahashi versus. It's just I start laughing when I say these names because this Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi defeated Suzuki, El Desperado, Ren Narita. This fucking match ruled, bro. For me,
it was great. And what this does too is it with Chaos and Tanahashi going over and taking those belts over to the United States. That was a really good thing to get on the Resurgence card. Allegedly, they're going to go against Wheeler, Yuta, Shuta, and Moxley.
These are some of the best 3 wrestlers I've ever known. Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi. Definitely. And so I remember Dave Meltzer saying like, "Oh, this match is probably going to be amazing," and it's like just on paper, and then Suzuki, El Desperado, and Ren Narita, and it was. Okada is being extremely disrespectful to Narita, head kicks, and he's treating him like a bitch.
That inner tension with Ishii and Tanahashi.
Tanahashi, which is that he didn't want to even team with Tanahashi in the first place, right?
Right.
And then he
didn't want anyone not from Chaos.
And then, I thought it was because he was injured, actually.
No, I think it was the fact that he wants nothing to do with anyone Hontai.
Oh, he's been a prick?
No,
which is totally Ishii. But that's Ishii, right?
Bullheaded, kind of. Yeah. I mean, first of all, what does he want to pick? Yano? I mean, who else on... I think Yano turned it down, I think Yano turned it down. But who else is in Chaos?
I think that's the thing. I mean, you could get
Orange Cassidy over there to be on the team?
To be honest. But, true. He's a junior. I want to say that the whole
Desperado's a junior.
You're right. Yeah. I do want to say that the whole junior thing is bullshit. I think we talk about this every couple of years, but I think Hiromu needs to be a heavyweight at this point.
You can see that New Japan over the last couple of years is blurring a little bit of that line. But
it's not the last couple of years. They had back in the day, they had juniors wrestle heavyweights.
But they would usually they would never win.
They would get canned, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it is still.
It is how it is still. I mean, Hiromu had a couple of good runs in the New Japan Cup where he was beaten like Ishii and...
True.
You know...
And I think he beat
he lost to
Minoru
Okada
Suzuki
in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
But when's the point where he's just like, I'm a heavyweight now, Kenny Omega style?
I mean,
it's probably never gonna happen.
I think they're gonna, let's see what happens after he does this junior, kind of breaks the record for the juniors, then maybe. But I think the one thing with Hiromu that always hurts him is the height.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing with what's his name? Kushida, right? They're just short people. Yeah,
but I mean, Hiromu's what, 5'6", maybe?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're one of the best wrestlers in the company, you need to be heavyweights.
Not only is he one of the best, he's arguably the most popular too.
Arguably, yeah.
I mean, he's definitely in the top 3 to 4 in popularity, if not higher.
I mean, right under Okada and Tanahashi, probably.
Yeah. Naito and him.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
And go to different times a year where it can fluctuate between those guys, but he is one of the cornerstones of the company for sure.
And he also has the best gear too. But
he has the best everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I think we kind of agree on that. Hikuleo defeated Kenta. I did not watch this match. I had it on and I was doing other shit. Did you watch that match?
Yeah. Kenta's obviously not the wrestler he was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, right? I mean, I think you look at a guy like Kenta and you really forget how long he's been doing this, right? I mean,
he was wrestler. He was wrestler of the year in 2006. He was wrestler of the year in 2006. Think about that.
Yes. Yeah. That's 17 years ago? Like, that wrestler of the year award is now a senior in high school, right? I mean, he signed with WWE when he was, 10 years after that, right? Was it 2015?
Yeah, he signed with WWE after he was 35. Already peaking in Japan.
And I don't think physically
he's not the same. But
he had a lot of injuries in NXT.
But he hits people pretty hard though.
No, he's still a really good striker, and I think in the last 2-3 years he's got himself at least aesthetically in better shape.
Whatever kind of gimmick he has now, like it pretty much works. He's not one of the best matches you'll see, but you can bet that the match will be probably pretty good to / okay.
Still has a lot of charisma. Still does some really good things.
Funny, he's funny. Yeah.
Reading the newspaper,
but no, he's not the same as he was 10, 12 years ago when he was going against Bryan Danielson. No,
he's not Noah.
Even comparing
Dragon Gate, was he a Noah guy, right?
No, he was a Noah guy.
Yeah, so he's not Noah.
He's not Noah. No, he's not. But he is. Yeah. He's kind of a popular dude in New Japan. He's he was a WWE guy. That makes your popularity go up twice as much.
I mean, in terms of the the zeros, he's a Japanese wrestling legend of the last 20 years, right? For sure.
Oh yeah.
So, and then Hikuleo is more of a
modern.
God, you think guys like Hikuleo are younger than they are, but he's 32. So
no, but he only started getting in the main event scene only 6 years ago. But you got to remember, like, we've been into New Japan for a long time, brother. Like, don't get it twisted, right? We've been watching New Japan for years. We used to say, Okada is so young. Okay, we don't say that anymore, right?
We kind of, in a way, though, when you look at Okada's resume, you're like, man, he's only 33.
Well, yeah, when you look at his resume, same thing with Okada and fucking Ospreay.
But I think in watching New Japan for years, too, a lot of these young lions, and they're not so young.
No.
And by the time they really
it's nothing.
Back from their excursion, they're usually in their late 20s.
Yeah. And in fact, I want to tag that thought. that you just had there, and we're going to bring that up again real soon. But you are completely right. So Hikuleo defeated Kenta, though. Did Hikuleo deserve this win, Justin? And when I say deserve, I know a lot of Twitter people will be like, hey, fucking, what is the word deserve? I am asking for your snap judgment, Justin. I'm not asking for a Twitter post.
Sure. I think it's fine. I mean, to me, it's like, I don't think the strong title is a necessity in New Japan right now.
I think
so that I really don't care.
But I will say, the strong title was when you had Filthy and what's Daryl? Daryl Young? Fred Rosser?
Darren Young? Oh, Fred Rosser, right.
I think that was a nice, really good feud, actually.
Absolutely.
That was a great
there's
feud.
Not even a New Japan strong show anymore.
True. There's no
I think that's part of
there's
the
no
reason.
AEW Dark either, brother. There's no AEW Dark.
Well, there was no AEW Dark title anyway, so it didn't matter. But Hikuleo, I think Hikuleo is fine, but I think we've kind of established through my time with, I'm not we just talked about it earlier I'm not usually a big guys really take a lot to win me over.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm not,
and he doesn't have the skills that make you think he's different from the other big guys. Don't be coy.
When you have a big guy, I'm just talking about from the presentation standpoint, right?
I like it.
How do I explain it? So if you have a 6'9" guy against a 5'9" guy, like, I just don't like the way that looks aesthetically.
And but I mean, look, Justin, you and I both admit that if these
it makes it less believable.
Okay. But we can both agree that if these two guys are awesome, they can put a great fucking show on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so are you saying that it just didn't really work here?
No, it was fine. Okay. I mean,
do you think Hikuleo is probably not the big guy that, he could be, or he's not?
I'm way more impressed by a Hikuleo than I am, Omos or...
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that says something interesting. Interesting. And every wrestling company is always going to have a big guy, right? We have it in AEW, Satnam Singh, right?
Yeah.
We have Hikuleo, so it's a common thing. It sounds like you think Hikuleo is probably better than some of the other big men.
Absolutely.
But
I think he's a way better athlete. Every once in a while, a big man will have a personality where I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. But,
I like Satnam Singh. Did you see them go back to the chicken ranch?
No.
Let's watch it on stream.
Maybe.
You ready?
Maybe I did. No.
I want to get your reaction to it.
I did remember. I saw the dad come, and then Jeff Jarrett was trying to play music.
All that, right?
I did see it. Yeah.
Because I liked that.
Jeff Jarrett's pretty good right now.
Too, what was great? Jeff Jarrett's doing great. Yeah, great part of his career. But the best part was he says, don't trust the ones in the overalls. And then he goes, wait, what? There's two of them. Which one? Because the fucking Satnam Singh and the Indian dude.
Jay Lethal.
What's his name?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Satnam Singh and Koresh, some shit. He's one of his brothers.
I know who you're talking about. But...
Koresh or something. Anyways, they were both wearing that. Anyways, we're not talking about all that. We're talking about Hikuleo versus Kenta versus an American match for the big guy versus a man who lives in Florida. Let's not get this twisted, Justin. Hikuleo versus Kenta was not a Japanese match. This is a match between two Americans, right?
I don't know. Does Kenta...
Can we agree on that?
Kenta does have a green card, I'm sure. But
dude, he lives in Florida.
He does.
And Hikuleo does too.
That's true. So,
all right, so Zack Sabre.
A nice little 10-minute match.
Yeah,
there you go.
Nice little 10-minute match between two Americans. Zack Sabre, we talked about that. We talked about Kazuchika Okada. God, dude, that match was so fucked. I'm sorry I have to bring it up again, but that match, Ren Narita is so good. And they're putting him against Okada.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a teaser for the future, isn't it?
Fuck. I feel like this show, bro, was literally the new generation. And we'll talk about that and why I feel that way in a little bit here. David Finlay versus Tama Tonga. Great match.
Now, if I would have told you 4 years ago, let's say, that Tama Tonga would be Neverweight champion, I guess it would be like, oh, okay, I can see that happening. But he's going to be in Hantai, and he's going to be facing David Finlay, who's
as the leader of Bullet Club. There's when it gets mixed up. So that's why I love New Japan right now.
Yeah.
That's why I love New Japan right now, dude. Everything is mixed up. Right? Everything's mixed up. And it's working.
And what do you think of this whole David Finlay presentation now?
So I can't compare him to Kenny Omega. He's not as good as Kenny Omega. He is... I really don't know. I want to wait and see more. That's all I'll say. I want to wait and see more.
Did you watch this? You watched this match, right?
Mm-hmm. But this match I had on in the background because I didn't think it would be good.
I mean, it was 25 minutes, but a lot of it just seemed like a squash match.
That's long for this. It seemed like a squash match, you say?
Yeah, David Finlay beat the shit out of him.
And
right?
Well, look, man.
Especially towards the end.
If you were Ghetto and you want Finlay to look strong, right?
That would be the way to do it, right? Because Tama is
Tama is a boss. So he'll probably get a rematch. But
right.
There's a lot of confusing and really dumb stuff within New Japan that bothers me. I mean, I'm wondering, David Finlay, right? He's got the championship he's got the Never Openweight Championship. Now, does he control Bullet Club Gold in AEW, Justin?
I think that's a whole other entity.
Okay, so does he...
I don't want to get that deep into it.
Okay, so does he control Evil in the House of Torture?
See, that was a whole debate that we could have had before this whole David Finlay thing.
So we shouldn't have
House
to
of
have
Torture
this
still in the Bullet Club.
It's stupid booking, bro. We shouldn't have to have this debate. It's really bad.
It's almost like a Vince McMahon tactic. Yeah. Don't say anything and people will forget.
We got Bullet Club Gold. It's like, what does that mean? No one says anything. Bullet Club, it's gold though. Because Elite is gold. But, I don't fucking know.
Well, back to this being for the Never Openweight Championship.
Sorry.
I think this is a really good way to kind of use that title right now.
You think they should use
somebody like David Finlay, who's trying to establish himself.
Well, Justin,
with that title.
Would you agree that the Never Openweight Championship should be the new Intercontinental Championship? It should be the second singles title, right?
No, I think the U.S. title should be.
Really?
Yeah.
But no, that's U.S. That's America, bro. You can't do. But Kenny Omega has it.
I need it to say IWGP on it.
What?
If it doesn't have IWGP, then it sounds like a secondary title.
We've talked about how the Never Openweight title started, right, Justin? We've talked about it on the show.
Yeah, it was an under 30 title, right? Wasn't it?
Under 30. And I want to bring it up to our fans again, actually, because it's actually so misused nowadays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That it's actually kind of gross. The original title was actually it was called Never, and all of those Never, Never, was meant to be New Blood, Evolution, Valiantly, Eternal, Radical. So
whatever that means. But
that's all I want to say.
I mean, and then you can make the argument that when they introduced that 15-minute TV title, that it was going to be for younger wrestlers, and we just had a 40-year-old go against a 35-year-old.
Well, I will say this: dude, this is not Stardom, okay, bro? Don't try to compare New Japan to Stardom. Stardom is mastered, super fast-paced matches, because that's how they work. When you're 17, you need to start learning that. But Zack Sabre just knows it because he's a fucking god of wrestling. Keep going.
Yeah, okay. But what I'm saying is, too, that it seems like the King of Pro Wrestling has become kind of that hard-hitting title now, right?
King of Pro... well, yeah.
It seems like that's what the never open weight
title.
At least in our watching of New Japan.
Yeah, well, okay, that's a great point, Justin, because back in the day, of course, the never was considered a very brutal title. It was shared between Shibata, Nagata,
right.
It was considered an extremely brutal fist fighting championship. The never nowadays, it's not the same.
No, I mean,
it's not the same.
The never is definitely being positioned as that number 2 title, because I don't even know where the U.S. title is right now. I know Kenny Omega has it, but
Kenny Omega has it. Yeah,
he does. But where is it? It's not on. Hasn't been on a show since Wrestle Kingdom.
No.
It's been defended.
He doesn't defend it on AEW.
He defended it against Jeff Cobb a couple weeks ago, right?
Did he?
Yeah. On Dynamite.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Little defense.
Yeah, I feel like it should be. I kind of miss that IC title, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. There is a gap, right? Like missing, which they have in Stardom, and really that secondary belt. You think it doesn't really exist in many wrestling companies.
To me,
WWE is starting the secondary belt right now, right? With their
especially, I don't know what that's going to be. I don't even know, but I feel like the never open weight has kind of lost what it was, even from what that original description.
Well,
but even not being that hard hitting title anymore. Maybe just make that the IC title then.
You know what, dude? A lot of old titles have trouble finding their identity, because the idea of being second best is, they just don't put, a lot of bookers don't put work into second best. And it's kind of sad.
I do feel like, a couple years ago, 2 years ago or so, the Never Open 8 was that secondary title, because you had guys like Jay White and Tanahashi having it.
I definitely remember a time when it was Nagata and Shibata battling for it, and it was an Ishii, and it was just like a fist fight every fucking week. You know what I mean?
Shoot, even Jeff Cobb had a run with it, and
Ospreay,
I think too.
Yeah, but even before then, dude, it was it was really a fighter's belt. It was like
the beefy matches.
Yeah, it was the belt for guys that just beat the fuck out of each other. And it was pretty awesome. We did have Sonata beat Takahashi. I thought this match was great.
Man, I know we're in May, right?
We are.
If I had to give that Wrestler of the Year award, I would give it to Hiromu right at this point.
Yeah, well, we're not there yet. I mean,
what I'm saying, he has put together his best.
You've been watching Kenny Omega, right?
Yeah, I mean, not much, to be honest with you.
Do Kenny Omega versus Takahashi? Did you see that match last year? No, I'm just kidding. They never wrestled.
Yeah, it never happened.
That match would be money as fuck. Yeah. Though, wouldn't it?
I'm just saying, Hiromu is putting together. I know he's my favorite wrestler. He's been my favorite wrestler for a long time now.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Dude, his match, he just killed it, bro. He fucking did multiple finishers in a row. We're fucking
Kanemaru. He's putting together quite the year, dude.
The year. I ain't even thinking about the year. I'm thinking this dude's career is wild, bro. This guy has put together year after year. And then we had another fucking year and a half where he was not around. Do you remember that period?
Yes, I do. And well, like I'm saying, I think he's putting together his best year since recovering from that injury this year.
He's putting in one of the best years of any wrestler ever.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it has to do with injury or not, you know?
Yeah. And I think he's kind of, he's learned to work a little bit of a different style that's been a little safer for him.
Okay, but he did some violent shit in this match that he should not have done. I mean, he jumped the fucking... I mean, he was violent. He jumped the cage, right? He jumped the cage and splashed onto Sanada. And then they did moves all from the top ropes. So this was a dangerous and violent match between these two guys. Hiromu is one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Sanada with a gimmick change, we would say, right, Justin?
Definitely.
And I mean, who does he remind you of anyone else, or what do you talk about his gimmick change, Justin?
Well, I mean, it basically involved a razor and some hair dye for the most part. I'm
looking at a little deeper. I think he is going to a classic Japanese babyface look.
And
I mean, he's got the trunks and the black hair, black eyebrows, right?
I know this is a weird comparison, but bear with me. It's more of like an Alberto Del Rio kind of look.
Looks like Piston Honda to me. Remember him?
But like just from Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah.
But, I think I'm talking in terms of the clean cut.
Remind you of Alberto Del Rio and the trunks.
Yeah, the clean cut, the trunks. He finally got some new gear. He's not looking so.
But my thing is homeless. with the old Sonata, he was like dyed up, right? Like had all sorts of crazy. And now he's going back to Japanese. Like, I am Japanese. I am
a little more of the default wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But more confident.
More confident now. He's
not doing the space pirate thing anymore, right?
Now, now we know that Sonata is not the most. What's the word? He's not charismatic. Yeah, exactly. He's not the most charismatic.
Confidence, wrestler. Right?
So they're telling him, obviously in the back, they're telling him, touch your ear, right? Touch your ear. Yeah. So I hope that works for him. But he's got to do good promos. He's got to go off. We'll see. He's probably going to get beat in the next 3 or 4 months. So. Who do you think should beat him? I say Zack Sabre. I say Zack Sabre wins the G1 and should challenge him.
So we had kind of a debut at the end of this card, right?
Oh, I didn't talk about that. Yeah. Go ahead and talk about it.
Yota Tsuji came back after being on excursion, since before the pandemic.
And where was he from?
Where was he on excursion?
Him and Shota, they both went on excursion to the same place.
To England. To England.
Specifically?
Okay. Rev Pro, right?
Yeah, Rev Pro. So a lot of London and UK shows.
Yeah, and I think they even sent him, or he did a little Mexico too towards the end.
And that was his main goal, was to go back to Mexico.
Yeah, he wanted to go to Mexico.
I saw a lot of his stuff from England. He was heel most of the time. Very good. Very impressive. We'll see what happens. What happened at the end of this show, though, Justin?
He came out and stomped on the champ, and he is going to get the title shot at Dominion.
Fucking A.
So,
okay. He might win it, too.
Who knows what's going to happen
He might
there.
win it, too. I mean, that Okada. Yeah. So
that's where we're talking about Sabre. Now, the question I have for you is this the newest member of Los Ingobernables de Japón? And to take it a step further, is this the new leader?
No. Naito is the leader. Naito is the leader. There's no doubt about that.
So
we'll give it 5 more years and then we'll argue about that.
Before this conversation, we had this conversation of who beat Sonata took place. I'd say Naito should hold the title.
Yeah, you never know.
Going into G1.
What is Naito's body good, right? I don't know. He wrestled, but I mean, he's probably getting a month off. They're doing best of the Super Junior now, so I think they're gonna figure all that shit out in the next month.
Naito's since Wrestle Kingdom has not really had to. He's been on a light schedule since Wrestle Kingdom. I think
probably a reason for that.
And I think where Naito is in the lineage of pro wrestling, they want to get him that title at least one more time, just to say he had that whatever new title, right?
We'll see. I don't know.
Because a lot of people were saying a month ago when this is all happening is we're getting Okada and Naito again next year at the Dome.
Okay, well, that would be cool. I mean, we'll see if they work it that way, but
this whole Yota Tsuji thing is very interesting.
And you have to understand this is one of the things that I've been very excited about New Japan recently is that there are so many up-and-comers coming up right now. Right? I mean, Justin, right?
Yeah, and I think also...
Ole Bolton, right?
Yeah. But that's a guy that they I know he's like 30 already, right? Or he's older, right?
Yeah, but Oscar Lube looked really good. Now, we're not even talking about, Zack Saber's fucking friend. Who's he? His friend that's in his group?
Dan Malone. Oh, no, that was the
TMDK?
Best of Super Juniors, who we haven't even talked about.
Yeah, and TMDK was in NXT. Did you know the group's been around that long?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. I want to look. We've been talking a while tonight. I really want to step on Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom. This show is fucking incredible, Justin. Did you see any of it?
Nope.
Okay. Why?
I don't even know where to look for it.
Doesn't even know how to. Well, first I'll tell you this. I was really upset. I did not buy the pay-per-view, Justin, because they were charging extra for English. So let's talk about that first of all. It was $35 for the Japanese stream. It was $44 for the English stream, Justin.
Both of those are outrageous prices.
Well, no, I don't think the Japanese one is too crazy, considering the scope. It was Stardom's biggest show ever. Ever? Yeah, ever.
Wow.
So, at Yokohama Arena, the biggest crowd ever. But there's no need to upcharge for English by that percentage.
No, that's gatekeeping right there.
Yeah. So,
I don't understand that whatsoever. What is it? What's the logic behind that?
I don't know, but I chose not to partake in that. I found the show in other ways. It really should have been on. If it's your biggest show ever, Stardom, it should be on Stardom World live.
Okay. Oh, it wasn't even. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We might be having this conversation about the G1.
Yeah.
And
we'll see.
Wrestle Kingdom next year. I'm really scared about that stuff.
Hope not.
Because that's when they're going to lose me.
Stardom, if you really wanted me to see this show, which it was one of the best shows ever, I mean, you would have had 100,000 more people watch it for $10 a month. Right, Justin? I mean,
I don't know the logistics, but yes, you would have had more people watch it. But
yeah, so they fucked up. And that way, I have seen it in English. I saw it in Japanese. But you guys have to figure that stuff out. And then I also had to go to some strange company to buy this thing too. You know what I mean? Like some company you've never heard of. And so,
yeah, I mean, they don't make it easy.
So I'll say this was, besides all that bullshit, this was one of the best shows I've probably ever seen. This was just a great emotional show that just kicked ass. You had Mesa Ray and Starlight Kid. They beat Azumi and Mai Suruga. This was just a great, fast-paced, high-speed match. We had Queen's Quest. That was Miyu Amasaki and Utami Hayashishita. They defeated Stars, which was Hazuki and Fuwa-chan. Fuwa-chan is a YouTube influencer. Okay, Justin?
Okay.
So kind of like a Jake Paul, I guess. And just like Jake Paul, Fuwa-chan is taking this very seriously. She got clothesline and just tried to do a flip bump and landed right on her fucking head. So pray for her.
What was the name of the latest show that you were talking about right now?
Oh, this was called Grand Queendom 2023. Yep. So Fuwa-chan, gotcha. I respect that by Fuwa-chan. Again, she took a flip bump right on the fucking head. It was really violent. So I hope she's okay. So then they did Maika versus Himeka, and Himeka actually, because this happens in women's wrestling, she is retiring at the age of 25. Okay? She's retiring, and Maika beat her. It was a very emotional match. Maika was crying as she pinned Himeka. It was really emotional. Very emotional match. From then on,
is that like a common thing where they retire at 25, right?
It's common in Stardom, yes. Retiring young.
So you can go have a career in the United States after that.
Yeah, well, a lot of them just are like, they see how hard wrestling is on their body, right? And just say, that's not for me. So a lot of these other matches were great too. We had number 8, Mina Shirakawa versus Saya Kamitani. Incredible fucking match. Saya Kamitani, the last time she wrestled Mina, she blew that girl's mouth out by she mislanded a Phoenix Splash and just crushed her mouth. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad. So Saya tried the Phoenix in this match, the Phoenix Splash, and she landed it, but there was a big story there. Mina won. Mina beat Saya Kamitani, who had crushed her mouth a year ago. She's coming back from injury. Shuri versus Chihiro Hashimoto by knockout. This was a submissions knockout, no pinfall match. And these women beat the fuck out of each other, fucked each other up, elbow after elbow after elbow after elbow into, mounted guard and very MMA. And Shuri defeated Chihiro, who is from another promotion, actually. She's from Sendai Girls. So that match was amazing, too. Next was Mayu Iwatani versus Mercedes Moné. This match was fucking incredible. Mayu beat the hell out of Mercedes, but Mercedes came back with just this. Did you know, Justin, when you watch New Japan, do you know that spot they do when they pin and then they pin and then they pin and then they pin, but they can't get a 3 count? It's like, I pin them 1, 2. Yeah. Mercedes did one of those. That was amazing. This match was fucking great, and Mercedes got her ass beat in the end. But she's going to be back in Long Beach very soon, so we'll see. The finals was Tom Nakano versus Julia. And Tom Nakano, this was a violent match. They bled. They beat the hell out of each other. And Tom Nakano got the pin on Julia. So, Justin, I'll have to get you for the white red belt, for the red belt. Yeah, for the red belt. Yep.
So that was a really short reign for Julia, huh?
I mean, I think she was doing pretty good, man. So we'll have to see. Julia won. Yeah. I don't have a record right here, but she lost her hair to Tom Nakano about a year and a half ago. And finally, the story between Julia and Tom Nakano is just they've always hated each other. Never been able to, you know what I mean? Just two wrestlers that have never been able to be on the same page at all. So, great match there. And I will get you some clips of that, Justin, because I want you to see that, bro. So, anything else going on in your world, brother? Any other wrestling topic you want to bring up?
Well, Best of the Super Juniors, we're getting Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah. Is he a junior, Justin?
I think so. I mean, style-wise, yeah.
I mean, he's not getting picked up by any other company, sadly. So.
Well, I think he's technically signed with Impact.
No, but I won't say this stuff. I'm not going to say it on the air. So, okay. Well, it's a big deal for him.
He's not a huge guy. He's like 5'8", 175, 180. I don't know. So, I mean.
But it'll be a great thing in Japan, especially with his
opening night. Main event's going to be Speedball Mike Bailey and Hiromu.
Yeah. And then he has another.
I might stay up late for that, no matter what it is.
He has another main event with Leo Rush, dude.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. No, it'll be great. It's probably the biggest exposure Mike Bailey's ever gotten. Right? Live wrestling?
I'd have to say so.
Yeah.
I mean,
huge.
Outside of Impact and PWG, right?
Yeah, but everybody in Japan is going to be watching this, and we will be too. So very exciting. Yes, very exciting. I'm really interested. I think he's going to get super over, especially if he does the really cheesy Karate Kid shit. Like, dude, I think that's going to get super over in Japan.
Yeah, they're going to love him.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff. So, Justin, it's been a great show. I appreciate you, brother.
Same here, buddy. Yeah, pretty good one.